Hey, teachers, do you want to get better at using AI in a totally not scary and not intimidating way? I have a really simple challenge that you can take on to make you a better user of AI. First of all, just open up whatever AI tool you use. ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Anthropic all have their own versions of free AI that you can access. Then what I want you to do, the challenge I want you to take on, is that I want you to prompt the AI tool to create a poem that sounds as human as possible. So you're going to take some time with that first prompt, and you're going to really write out some specificity here, and you're going to ask the AI to write you a poem here and see how human can you make it sound. Now, no matter what output you get from the chat, I want you to take that output and I want you to give it some feedback, and I want you to give it some advice, and I want you to tell it how it can make it sound even more human. And I want you to see if through these little tiny suggestions, if you can get the poem to sound even more human. Okay, you run off and do that, and then I'm going to explain really quickly what you're learning by doing this.
A few moments later.
So what you're actually practicing when you take on this challenge is you're practicing two types of prompt engineering. When I say prompt engineering, all I mean is that you're talking to the generative AI tool like ChatGPT in a way that it understands what you want and is able to give you a productive output. So the two things that you're practicing here is mega prompting and iterative prompting. When I say mega prompting, what I mean is giving one big long list of all of the things that you want the AI tool to do and expecting it to run with that information and do it. There are benefits to this, like you can give a lot of context, you can make sure it doesn't run off in the wrong direction and do thinking in the wrong direction, but it's also limited as well because you're giving one big input and expecting it to understand everything that you are saying. The second style of prompting is iterative prompting. When we say iterative prompting, we start with a couple of lines and then we give the chat more feedback as it goes. We continue to refine what we're looking for, give it advice, give it feedback, and let it adapt to our needs as we explain them. There are benefits to iterative prompting in terms of quickly changing the outputs and getting it in the exact format that you need, but sometimes iterative prompting can result in a lack of context, which means that the chat just runs off and thinks in a direction you don't need it to. Go ahead and use this challenge of creating poetry that sounds as human as possible to either strengthen your own AI skills or use this as a way to introduce AI and creative uses of AI to your students. If you do introduce it to your students, though, make sure you're following all the privacy guidelines and expectations from your school. All right, good luck out there. I hope to read some of your poetry.